This is Dan Shepard. Welcome to this lesson on the 4 decisions. This series of short webinars is about having intentional, participatory relationships with your donors. Each lesson introduces ideas and tools you can use in your work pursuing each of the 4 decisions your future donor needs to make. Why they care enough about your nonprofit to meet with you, a fundraiser. What you do they might care about enough to consider supporting with a significant gift. How they could afford to do that. And finally, reflecting on why they care, what they care especially about, and how they could make a gift, will they make a commitment? On the face of it, this lesson addresses a negative concept, limitations. It's necessary to take a look at your options to compare what I believe you shouldn't do as a fundraising professional with what you might choose to do instead. I'm challenging you to examine how you do the things you do in building donor relationships, hoping you can better appreciate the choices available to you. I'm inviting you to turn any limitations you identify into new opportunities for growth and success. You just received a check from one of your most loyal donors, the renewal of his annual $1,000 or $10,000 contribution. It even counts toward your goal for securing major gifts. The typical nonprofit defines a major gift based on a minimum dollar threshold, whether it be $1,000, $10,000, $100,000. It's good to have a target to aspire to, as long as it doesn't become a self-limiting target, as long as you don't set it in your mind that you're looking for $100,000 gifts. The risk is that you turn what's meant as your floor into your ceiling, and that you limit yourself. Think about this for a moment. How does your definition of a major gift compare to your donor's definition? What might she say if you asked her, "What's a major gift to you?" The best and the most pertinent definition I've ever heard of a major gift is one that the giver has to pause and think about. Let's examine that definition in the context of our all too typical fundraising practices. The donor who faithfully writes you a $10,000 check every November isn't thinking much about that gift. Therefore, it isn't a major gift to him. It's his annual gift, even if it meets your minimum definition. There's potentially much more where that came from. Consider this. Your $10,000 a year donor almost certainly supports other charities. While you're asking him to renew that $10,000 gift, someone else from his church, from her alma mater, a local hospital, the symphony, is inviting a conversation about something more. Some enterprising fundraising professional is pursuing her organization's definition of a major gift with your donor. She may be excited about asking for a $100,000 pledge, and she may get it. And even she has missed the point. The point is to invite your donor to participate in defining what a major gift is to him. And how do you do that? Here's my simple solution. Ask for a conversation before you ask for a contribution. Since you can't know your new possible donor's true gift capacity, you must find a way to discover it. So invite a conversation your donor can participate in. Introduce an agenda he can share with you. Let him help plan his gift. In the vast majority of cases, when you start a new donor relationship, you don't know, if you end up securing a gift, whether it will be an outright gift, a testamentary gift, a gift that provides an income stream for somebody, maybe a blended, multi-part gift plan. Your job is to work with your donor to find the best gift plan for him. Some fundraising professionals limit themselves by too rigidly defining their job titles. When I ask my students who identify themselves as major gift officers to define a major gift, they almost invariably refer to their nonprofit's dollar threshold. They tend to limit their thinking to outright gifts. They deny themselves the possibility that a donor's best gift plan might be a deferred gift plan. For decades, the standard approach to major gift fundraising has been to predetermine what amount to cultivate, often based on research from some wealth screening and rating project, Then, if cultivation creates the opportunity to ask for a gift in that amount. Limiting yourself to asking for a predetermined gift amount, limiting yourself to only outright gifts, isn't good enough. The typical planned giving expert also leaves gifts on the table by focusing on what are considered traditional planned gifts, deferred gifts via bequests, charitable gift annuities, and charitable trusts, and paying little to no attention to the potential for outright and blended gift plans. Limiting yourself to asking, "Is our organization in your estate plan?" isn't good enough. Here's a piece of advice from a professional friend. Never fundraise out of your own pocket. What does that mean? People tend to project their own circumstances, capacities, and inclinations onto others. The problem here is that most fundraising professionals aren't wealthy themselves, so they often project incorrect assumptions onto their prospective donors. Assuming their donors are limited in what they can do is just one more example of self-limiting thinking. When you project your own circumstances onto your donors, you too often miss the mark. Donors can limit themselves. They sometimes underestimate the impact they can have because they aren't aware of the multiple ways through which they can make their gift commitments. Too many tend to limit their thinking to a single choice, whether that be an outright commitment or a deferred gift plan. It just doesn't occur to them that they might be able to do some of each. When the prospective donor learns that a gift of $25,000 is required to endow a scholarship fund, she might get discouraged and decide not to give at all. The proactive fundraiser has an opportunity to invite this prospect to dream about possibilities, to introduce a variety of ways through which the donor might accomplish her giving goal. From the donor's perspective, there is only the gift plan, the strategy that will accomplish that donor's charitable goals. This invites a re-examination of definitions, of just what is meant and what's included when we speak of major gifts and of planned gifts. Most important, it invites us to work more intentionally, to include our donors in identifying the best way, the best time, the best assets for the gift plan that's best for both your nonprofit and for your donor. Thank you for playing this short lesson. I hope you picked up some ideas you can put to use and that you'll enjoy the other lessons in this series. You're welcome to contact me for a free 15-minute consultation on the subject matter. For a deeper dive into the structure and the language of the 4 decisions, I invite you to enroll in our e-learning course, The 4 Decisions Online, which you can find at the URL you see on this slide.